Have you ever made a New Year's resolution to finally become a better person, only to find yourself right back where you started with the same old bad habits? Yeah, we've all been there. Today, we're going to dig into exactly why that happens and explore a really powerful way to finally break that cycle for good.
Seriously, think about it. When was the last time you just snapped? Maybe you yelled at someone you love, or you found yourself doing that one thing you swore you would never ever do again. It's that awful moment where it feels like some other person has taken the controls, right? Well, that's the internal battle we're talking about today.
And this just hits the nail on the head. See, there's the version of you that has all these amazing principles, you know? The you who wants to be patient and kind. And then there's the you that actually shows up, the one who acts on impulse and runs straight back to a bad habit the second things get tough. The problem is that second you has been calling the shots for way too long.
So, why do our best intentions always seem to crash and burn? Well, it turns out most of us are making one single, fundamental mistake. We're trying to solve two totally different problems, getting rid of a bad habit and building a good one, using the exact same game plan. And that plan, it's completely backward.
And check this out, because this is the trap. This is exactly where we go wrong. We tell ourselves, okay, I'll just cut back on this bad habit a little at a time. But for the good stuff, we expect to just wake up one morning and magically be a disciplined person. The crazy part is, the right way to do it is the complete and total opposite of this.
Okay, so let's tackle vices first. If you really want to kill a bad habit, you can't be nice about it. You can't tiptoe around it. You have to get ruthless. You have to follow what this framework calls the law of the brutal cut. This whole idea that you can just taper off a bad habit, that you'll slowly get it under control. It's a total lie. It's a nice little story we tell ourselves so we don't have to make the actual hard decision. And you know what? It's the very thing that keeps that vice alive and kicking. So here's the absolute key. Ending a vice is not a process. It's an event. It is one single decisive moment. There's no gray area. You don't gradually stop yelling at people. You just decide to stop right now. It's not about procrastinating a little less. It's a choice. You either do it or you don't. That's it. And you know what you have to do to make that decision? You have to drop the excuses. Every single one of these justifications is like a shield you hold up to protect your vice. As long as you're blaming your past or other people or anything else, the vice stays in charge. The first real step is to drop the shield and take total ownership. All right, so vices require a brutal, clean cut. But what about building up the good stuff? What about virtues like patience or discipline? Well, for that, we need a completely different mindset. This is what we call the law of the slow build. This chart makes it crystal clear. Vices are killed in a single moment. Virtues are built over time, brick by brick, with daily repetition. You don't just wake up and decide to be courageous. It just doesn't work like that. Virtue has to be cultivated every single day. And here's the simple formula for how to do it. First, you have to deliberately repeat the action you want to become a habit. Second, you got to be conscious while you're doing it. Know why you're choosing to act this way. And third, and this is the big one, you have to practice, especially on the days you really, really don't want to. That's how a virtue is forged. Look, it's so important you hear this. This is not going to happen in a week or even a month. Building a new virtue can take months of study work. Why? Because you are literally rewiring your brain's automatic responses. Think of it like you're installing brand new software over your old glitchy programming. So you have to be patient with the process. So now let's get to the most powerful, practical tool you can use. See, most of us wait until we're already triggered. We wait until we're seeing red or until we're drowning in laziness. And then we try to fight back. But by then, it's almost always too late. The real secret isn't to react better, it's to anticipate.
Come on, let's be real for a second. You know exactly which situations make you lose your cool. You know which people push your buttons. You know what time of day your willpower just vanishes. So let's stop acting so surprised when it happens. The key is to use that knowledge before you're even in the situation.
And here's what you do with that knowledge. You come up with something called an incompatible response. It's just a fancy term for a substitute action that you plan out ahead of time. It's a move you make that makes it physically or mentally impossible to give in to your old bad habit. Okay, let's make this real. Say your vice is yelling when you get angry. The trigger is that frustrating conversation. Your pre-planned response? The second you feel it coming, you either go completely silent or you physically get up and walk out of the room. It's kind of hard to scream at someone when you're walking down the hallway. Or what about procrastination? The second you feel it hit, your incompatible response is to do the absolute tiniest piece of the task for just 2 minutes. That's it. It's a lot harder to stay stuck when you're already in motion. Now, all this sounds great in theory, but I have to be really honest with you about something. You are going to mess up. You will fall. You'll have a bad day and slip back into the old habit. And that is totally okay. In fact, it's a necessary part of the process.
I really want you to let that one sink in for a second. Just because you have a setback, it doesn't mean all your progress is gone. It doesn't cancel the journey. The real problem isn't falling down. The real problem is falling down and deciding to stay there.
Think about it like you're lifting weights at the gym. To build muscle, you have to break the fibers down a little so they can grow back stronger. Building character is the exact same thing. Every time you stumble, own it and get right back on track, that virtue gets stronger. Every recovery is like one more rep. And one last thing. When you first start practicing a new virtue, you are going to feel like a total fraud. Acting patient when you feel like screaming inside? Yeah, it's going to feel fake. But that's normal. All it means is that the new pattern isn't automatic yet. Stick with it, because what starts as a conscious, difficult effort will eventually become your new, natural self. So, it all comes down to this one question. What do you prefer? A few months of focused, conscious effort to build the person you actually want to be, or more years stuck as a slave to the same old impulses, trapped in the same cycles, feeling powerless? The choice, as always, is yours. Thanks for tuning in.